The first of the Hollywood Syndicate runners to step out this weekend is Gale Force in the last race at Fairview tomorrow. That's Friday, the 4th of September. She has well documented temperament issues, and we had to move her down to PE because the training centre down there at Fairview is a little bit kinder as they enter the main working surface. She's obviously quite a speedy filly, and she's very, very well related, half sister to the top sprinter in Cape Town, Russet Air. And she stayed on quite nicely when having her first start there over 1400 meters. It was a pipe opener. She really needed the run badly, and now she drops back to 1200. She's drawn well, and Stallone Nadi takes the ride. He has worked her quite a lot at home, and he knows her very, very well. As far as the stable are concerned, they are expecting a nice run. The jury is out on whether she'll win or not, because it all comes down to her temperament. But Ant, I mean, you obviously have become familiar with the filly now that you've joined the Hollywood Syndicate. You obviously chatted to Gavin Smith.
Yes, Gav says she is a difficult filly, but he's got the treadmill, which he's been doing a lot of work with her on the treadmill. He says it's as well as fit as he can get her, and expecting her to run a bold race.
Yeah, she is loaded with ability, so she gets her mind on the job, she could win at a decent price. The Hollywood Syndicate's second runner for the weekend steps out in the second race at Turffontein on Saturday, the 5th of September, and that's in the form of Purple Magic from the Clinton Binder yard. And you've obviously chatted to Clint, hasn't shown too much at home yet?
No, Clint says he hasn't shown him anything at home. Obviously, Clint trains on a farm. Sometimes the horses go to races and they will improve. So, and his horses always after one run, they come on. So he's a horse, I think, with the racing, we'll learn a little bit more about it, but obviously from the homework, be very hard to find a place.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll benefit from the experience nonetheless, but probably worth watching this time, and we'll have to make an assessment thereafter. On Sunday, we have 4 more runners for the Hollywood Syndicate, starting off in the first race, the Duncan Howes inmate, and that is in the form of Spider's Corner. Beautifully named horse he was named by Hollywoodbets ambassador Brian Beloy. And obviously he's a full brother to Purple Powerhouse, who recently won back on the 12th of August. And you obviously, and I've also chatted to Duncan in great detail about this horse. Probably not ready to win. He says he's got a bit of ability and can finish in the first 4 if he puts his mind on the job, but not ready to win just yet.
Yeah, Duncan said he's done a lot of work with him, and he expects him to run a respectable race, and he wouldn't be disappointed if he won, because he's done enough work. But obviously that's where you tipped your best bet. I think he looks, Iron Tail does look the horse they all have to beat. Apart from that, if you look at the field, there's a lot of first-timers. So I think if he puts his best foot forward, he'll be competitive.
Yeah, he does say that he has his issues at the starter as well. So, you know, if he could fluff his lines and lose a few lengths, that's his race over. But if he does jump on terms, as Anthony alluded to, he has shown a bit of ability, and the stable do say that they're expecting him to finish in the first 4. So possibly a place bet this time, and one to follow next time out. But as mentioned, he could possibly win it. And our second runner on the card is in the second race, and that is in the form of Sihamba Sonke. And that's a Karari filly who was purchased at the CTS Premier Yearling Sale back in January last year. She had an unfortunate incident where she got very sick at the start of this year, but she seems to come through it. And I know the stable do say that she's really overcome that issue, and she's starting to show a bit of nice work at home. And you know, she has the ability to show a decent amount on debut, but possibly one that may need a bit more ground.
Yeah, that's what Duncan said to me. He says, you know, he'll be very happy if she runs halfway back, and she's definitely a filly that wants to get a trip, and she is a lovely filly, but she just wants a little bit more ground.
Yeah, I think she'll definitely benefit from the experience, that's for sure. And a nice place to start at Hollywoodbets Scottsville down the straight. So let's see how she goes, and hopefully she runs a nice race, but probably not worth following just yet. Our third runner on the card comes in the 5th race in the form of Spanish Fort, who had his first start in KZN or first start back in KZN after a campaign up in Kimberley. He sticks with the Cliffy Miller stable, and he probably just needed the run. He showed a lot of pace and just blew up slightly at the end.
Yeah, going through about the 400, he looked like he was going to actually win. He was going an absolute half pace. Cliffy said he definitely needed the run quite badly. I think he's a horse that's going to improve a lot. And if you look at the race, and that's where I tipped my best bet, just a guy thing. It's not an over strong race, and if he puts his best foot forward, I think he'll be very competitive.
He's got a lovely galloping weight at 52 with Jason Gates aboard, so yeah, he could be anything. It could be interesting to see how he goes, but we'll be hoping for a nice run nonetheless. Then in the 6th race, Arctic Princess from the Glen Cotton stable. And you made her your value bet on the cards, should I say? And obviously we alluded to the fact that she's going to like a bit of extra ground here.
Yeah, I think she's learning to race properly now, and she is a very difficult filly. When they started with her, that's why I think we haven't gone over further with her. She just used to over race in the race, and now she's learning to settle. And watching her last race, she looked like she wants a bit of ground, and I think going the ground, if she finds herself in a good position, not too far behind, I think she'll be competitive.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I know that Western Winter Mufti Cross has produced obviously some champions back in the past, and they do seem to like a bit more ground. So this time it's her first time over 1950, and if she settles, she will be right there at a decent price.